Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to the reading of Dialectic Spiritualism, a Vedic view on Western philosophy by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai. Presently this book is published under the name Beyond Illusion and Doubt, and we are Shravanam Diaries podcast. I am your host Sulalita Devidasi. So let's continue. We are reading the last chapter of the book entitled Carl Jung, chapter number 15, Disciple. Jung believed that one is reborn due to karma, or selfish action. He wrote, quote, "If karma still remains to be disposed of, then the soul relapses again into desires and returns to live once more, perhaps even doing so out of the realization that something remains to be completed. In my case, it must have been primarily a passionate urge toward understanding which brought about my birth, for that was the strongest element in my nature." Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. That understanding for which Jung is longing is understanding of Krishna. This Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante gyanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabha. One's understanding is complete when one comes to the point of understanding that Krishna is everything. Then one's material journey comes to an end. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. Bhagavad Gita 4.9. When one's understanding of Krishna is incomplete, Krishna gives instructions by which one can understand him completely. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Asamshayam samagram mam yatha gyasyasi tachrinu. Quote, "Now hear from me how you can understand me completely and without any doubt." Unquote. Bhagavad Gita 7.1. If we can understand Krishna completely, we will take our next birth in the spiritual world. Disciple. Jung conceived of a persona which seems identical with what we call the false ego. He wrote, quote, "The persona is the individual's system of adaptation to or the manner he assumes in dealing with the world. A professor, for example, has his own characteristic persona, but the danger is that people become identical with their personas. The professor with his textbook, the tenor with his voice. One can say with a little exaggeration that the persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself as well as others think one is." Quite accurate. Srila Prabhupada. One's real persona is that one is the eternal servant of God. This is the spiritual conception of life, and when one realizes this, his persona becomes his salvation and perfection. But as long as one is in the material conception of life, one's persona is that one is the servant of one's family, community, body, nation, ideal, and so on. In either case, the persona is there and must continue. But proper understanding is realizing that one is the eternal servant of Krishna. As long as one is in the material conception, one labors under the delusion of the false ego, thinking, I am an American, I am Hindu, I am Christian, I am Muslim, and so on. This is the false ego at work. In reality, we are all servants of God. When we speak of a false ego, we imply a real ego, a purified ego. One whose ego is purified understands that he is the servant of Krishna. Disciple. For Jung, the purpose of psychoanalysis is to come to grips with our subconscious shadow personality. Then we can know completely who we are. Srila Prabhupada. That means attaining real knowledge. When Sanatana Goswami approached Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana said, Please reveal to me who and what I am. In order to understand our real identity, we require the assistance of a guru. Disciple. Jung says that in the shadow personality of all males, there is a bit of the female, and in all females, there is a bit of the male. Because we repress these aspects of the shadow personality, we do not understand our actions. Srila Prabhupada. We say that every living entity is by nature a female. Prakriti. Prakriti means female, and Purusha means male. Although we are Prakriti, in this material world we are posing ourselves as Purusha. Because the Jivatma, the individual soul, has the propensity to enjoy as a male, he is sometimes described as Purusha. But actually the Jivatma is not Purusha. He is Prakriti. Prakriti means the predominated and Purusha means the predominator, the predominator. The only predominator is Krishna. Therefore, originally, we are all female by constitution. But under illusion, we attempt to become males, enjoyers. This is called Maya or illusion. Although a female by constitution, the living entity is trying to imitate the supreme male, Krishna. When one comes to his original consciousness, one understands that he is not the predominator, but the predominated. Disciple. Jung wrote of the soul in this way, quote, if the human soul is anything, it must be of unimaginable complexity and diversity, so that it cannot possibly be approached through a mere psychology of instinct." Unquote. Srila Prabhupada. According to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can understand the soul through training. We should understand that we are not brahmanas, kshatriyas, sannyasis, brahmacharis, or whatever. By negation, we can understand, I am not this, I am not that. Then what is our identity? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gopi Bhartur Padakamalyor Dasa Dasa Anudasa. Quote, I am the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. Unquote. That is our real identity. As long as we do not identify ourselves as eternal servants of Krishna, we will be subject to various false identifications. Bhakti, devotional service, is the means by which we can be purified of false identifications. Check. We're going to stop here for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website, shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.